Hi there and welcome to this video on shell scripting. What is a shell? A shell is a command line interpreter. It helps to translate the command entered by the user and converts them into a language that is understood by the kernel. Users communicate with the kernel through a program known as the shell. Now, what is a shell script? A shell script is a list of commands that are listed in order of execution. So let's begin. The first thing we should do is create a file called touch. Remember, you use touch to create files in command line shell.sh. So you should end it with sh to signify that this is a shell file. And that file has been created. The next step for us is to open it up with nano editor. So I'm opening two sides of my shell of my terminal so that I can work side by side. Shell.sh. So now it is opened in nano editor. You can do this in any editor that you like, it doesn't matter. The first thing you need to understand is that there are different types of shell. In your classic shell, you have shells called bourne shell, corn shell, bourne again shell, which is also called bash, and the POSIX shell. This shell, the bourne again shell or bash shell, is the most popular one and is actually the one that we are using. But just to put you through, there are some other types. So you also have the C shell types, and here you have C shell, 10x or tops shell, and you have Z shell. Take note of all these, so I'm going to delete them because the one that we would be using is called the bourne again shell, the one on your screen right now, and it is also called bash. So anytime you hear bash, just know that they are talking about the bourne again shell. Now, the first thing you need to do to start your shell command is to start with your shebang, as in shebang. And what is a shebang? This is a shebang, the number sign and the exclamation mark, then BINSH. So what this does is that is the absolute path to the interpreter of the shell on your computer. All scripts in Linux execute using the interpreter mentioned in this line, and the shell we have mentioned in this line is the bourne shell, also known as bash. Now let's proceed. The first thing you need to know about the shell is how to make comments. To make a comment, you use the pound sign or the number sign, and I'll say this is a comment. This is not going to be executed by the command. The next thing is echo. Echo is a command used to print outputs. So if you want to get an output, you use echo. So let's create an output. Hello, my fellow programmer. So let's save this. To save in nano editor, you use Ctrl-O, enter. Let's go back to the shell, to the other terminal. Now, if we run this file, to run a shell file, all you need to do is /shell.sh. As you can see, permission is denied. So before you run your shell script, you have to change the mode. Remember this from our Linux command. You change the mode so that it can be executed. So 77 shell.sh, enter. And now this file can be executed. So let's do that command again. Shell.sh. And as you can see, the output is on the screen. Hello, my fellow programmer. Now, this brings us to the next lesson. Let me turn this to a comment. The next thing you need to know is, let me delete it just to make the screen a little bit less clunky. It's variables. So, what is a variable? A variable is a character string to which value is assigned, and it points to actual data. Your variable could be a number, text, file name, device, or any other data type. And how do you assign a variable? You use capital letters because that is the most preferred form of assigning variables. You use capital letter or uppercase, and also there should be no space between your equal to sign, and it could be a number, letters, or underscore. So let me create a variable called name. See, no space, equal to, because this is a string, you use the apostrophe, and name, that is my name. But you can't get this yet. You can't do anything with this until you echo it out so that you can get the output. So let's echo this. To echo this, all you need to do is put it inside of a variable. Let's say my name is, you use the $sign and your variable. So let me save this with Ctrl O, and let's run this script on the other terminal. /shell.sh, and as you can see, my name is Precious is on the screen, just like we have it here. My name is this variable, and the variable says Precious name. We could add another variable, gender, and let's put that in our echo. My name is, and I am a, yes, you got that right, gender. Save this, and let's do that on the terminal. Use your up arrow key, and as you can see, my name is Precious and I am a male. The next thing you would like to do with your shell is to be able to collect user inputs, which is very important. So how do you collect or take user input on shell? It's simple. Let's do it together. So I'll delete all this. I hope you typed along with me. Let's say echo what is your name? Then you use the read command to collect user inputs. And let's assign the input to a variable called name. Now we can output it. Echo your name is. When you call your variable in echo, you have to put the $sign before it. So I save this, and let's run it on the terminal. Let me clear the terminal because we have a lot on it now. So shell.sh, enter. So now it's prompting me to put in an input. So what is your name? My name is Precious, like you all know already. Enter, and you see your name is Precious. Before I close this lesson on variables, there is something else I want you to know. So you can unset variables. And how do you unset variables? Well, you use the word unset. So unset practically deletes a variable. So let's assume I have a variable called name again. But this time, let me use a lady's name, Kimberly. You can unset that variable by using unset. And let's echo and see what we get on the terminal. Let's make it fun. This name dash name dash is deleted. So normally this is supposed to be this name Kimberly is deleted, but let's see, because we've used onset, this place will be empty. Control O to save on Nano Editor, enter, and let's go to the other terminal. And as you can see, this name is deleted. The name is not showing, but the name is supposed to show because we've deleted it using onset. That is why we can't see that name. All right, so that is it on comment, echo, variable, and in variable you can collect user input and you can echo it on your screen, and you can also unset the variables. Now, the next thing we need to learn are basic operators in Bash. So let's create some variables. Let's call this variable A. Let's say A is equal to 50 and B is equal to 30. So we're going to do series of echoes to get the value of our variable. And the very first one is the addition operator. Plus so the first one is addition, that's 50 plus 30. So let's copy this and let's do it for the other operators. So the next operator will be minus subtraction. Let's make this one multiplication, division, and this one is called modulus. So modulus gives us the remainder of the results. So for multiplication, we have to escape it so that you can get a multiplication sign. Then division, I think that's about all. So let's see what we have in our results. So take notes, the first one should be 80, the second should be 20, the third should be maybe 1500, I suppose. The fourth should be 1 point. Let's just check it out. So let's save this file and let's run the shell script on our terminal. Oh, apparently there's an oh. So let's save that again, Control O. Let me clear it so that we'll do it properly. So as you can see, the first one is 50 plus 30, right? 80. 50 minus 30, 20. 50 times 30, 15. 50 divided by 30, 1 point, but it gave us 1. Then 50 modulus 30, that is, when you divide 50 by 30, what's the remainder? You get 20. So, as you can see, this is basically your arithmetic operators or operation in Bash. So it's pretty straightforward, and I believe that it was quite easy for you to follow through. So do some tests on your own, and let's continue. So the next particular stuff about Bash that we'll be learning is the conditional statement. And in the conditional statement, we have the if statement that is used to test for the truity of a condition. So if statement, and let's type out a quick if statement. So let's say my name is Precious. Then if name is equal to Precious, then say tab, then say your name is valid. Then you close that with fi. So let's test that command and see. Everything here is true, so it should tell me that my name is valid. Shell.sh, your name is valid. That is your if statement. Now, what if we want to create a system whereby if the condition is not true, it should say something, right? So we had the else statement. So it becomes an if and else statement. So let's say your name is not recorded. Okay, so let's change the variable. Let me just go up there and misspell my name so that it's no longer true. Now let's see if it's going to echo the second one for else. So Ctrl O, save. Let's run the command shell. And as you can see, it says your name is not recorded. What if I spell my name correctly again? Save. Your name is valid. Now, there is a third one we can add, and that is called the else if. So else if tests for another condition entirely. So you write that with elif. Then you call the name variable again. Kimberly. Then it should echo your name is Kimberly. So what is happening here? Right now, our first if statement is true because Precious matches Precious here in the name variable. So the result is going to give us your name is valid. Now, to make this one true, it means that name has to be Kimberly here. That's a pretty long name I selected. So we have to delete this and type in Kimberly. I can see a spelling error here already. Also with Kimberly. So that's a capital letter I, it should be small letter. So Kimberly. So save that now. The elif statement should be triggered and it should say your name is Kimberly. And that is it. Your name is Kimberly. And what if none of the names are there? Let's say we misspell Kimberly and it's not also equal to Precious. You can guess that already. It's going to tell us that our name is not recorded. Your name is not recorded. So that is pretty much if, else, and else if statements on Bash. Now we want to learn about the equality operators, or you could call them the relational operators. And let's get to it. So relational operators will be your less than, greater than, stuff like that. So let's create our variables. Num1 is equal to 50. Num2 is equal to 30. Now let's create the if statement. If num1 is greater than num2, then tab echo num1 is greater than num2, else, let me just copy this, then you close with fi. So I'm going to make this lesser than, okay. So let's save that and let's check in our shell, in our terminal. So you see 50 is greater than 30. What if I make num2 to be bigger? 300. Save. Check it on a terminal. And 50 is less than 300. But then, instead of using GT, there are other operators that you can use. So I will just itemize them for you up here so that you can play around with them. So the first one we had here was GT, which is greater than. Then you have LT, which is less than. So you know where to use them. You have EQ. Please don't forget, you have to put the dash in front of them. So we have EQ, which means is it equal to. Then you have NE, not equal to. Then you have GE, which is greater or equal to. And you have dash LE, less than or equal to. So all you need to do is just to play around with these relation operators and swap this out, and you would find uses for them. They are pretty much straightforward, so we shouldn't waste too much time on this video. So let's proceed. Save. So the next one we should work on is the file operator. So basically, it helps us to check if files exist and whatnot. So I already typed out the command, so I'm just going to copy it and paste it down here. Then we'll do the editing of the different parts of this script. Okay, so let me paste that in what I have on my clipboard, and now let's work on this. So I'm going to turn this to a variable called file. File equal to test.txt, and for our if statement it will change to, so let's use the first flag, let's use this one, E, then file, so it should be file exists, or file is a file. Let's do file is a file. Let's just say exists. Not exist. So this is going to check E if the file exists or not. Actually, I don't have this file, so let's see what it says on the terminal. Not exist, because this file is not present. So let's create that file and let's see what happens. Touch.tst.txt. Now let's run the command again, and now the file exists. The other one is true if the provided string is a file. So it's also going to be true because it is a file. Remember, so if we run it and change this, if we change this to F, I think I should just turn this to true and false. Yeah, true, false. So we've created this file test and we are checking if the file provided is a string, that is, the file exists or not. So let's check that to confirm. True, the file is there, right? This is D. True if the file is a directory. So let's try D. Let's see what it will say, true or false. Can you answer that before I run the script? Yeah, you should. So this should give us false because it is not a folder, it is a file. False. But if it was a folder, it would be true. So you could do that for the different flags that you have here. You can check if the file is executable, if it is writable, if the user ID is set on the file, if the file has non-zero size, if it is readable, if the group ID is a file, So that's pretty much it. So just use the flag, play around with this, and that is how you do your file operator. So let's create a for loop. So let's create some variables. Hali, Bala, Kali, Daila. For the for loop, you say for. So this is another variable in names. do echo. So let's say hello to everybody. Name. Done. Let's run this script. As you can see, it says hello Ali, hello Bala, hello Kali, and hello Dialer. So that is how to do a for loop in shell. The next thing we will want to work on is your functions. So how do you create function? Pretty straightforward. So let's delete all this. We use function, just like in JavaScript, say hello. Then you echo. Hello, my friend. I am from a function. So let's run that. Oh, something else. Before you go, you have to call your function. Don't forget to do that. Say hello. The syntax error. So let's fix that up. Say hello. So let's see what is causing the problem with our syntax. So I think it is reading this function as one. So we have to space them out. I'm talking of the brackets. It happens. Let's try that again. Unexpected. Well, there are different ways to write a function, so I'm wondering if my program is having issues with the way this one is written. So some of them or some of the terminals don't need you to put the function keyword. So let's try that if that's the problem here. That's the problem there. So it doesn't want, you don't need to put the function keyword, and that is actually pretty and straightforward if I must say. So without function, just put in the brackets and put in hello my friend, I am from a function, and you get your function running. Now what if you want to pass parameters? Let's say hello my friend. So you use what we call positional parameters. So instead of putting anything arguments inside of this bracket, you don't need to do that. You just need to come down here and let's say 1, I am from hello my friend, I'm going to use my country there, so let's say 2, hello, let's remove my friend, so it should be hello. Then when we call the function, we have to pass in the new parameters. The first one is precious. Hello, precious. I am from Nigeria. So save that and let's check it out. As you can see, it worked. Hello, precious. I am from Nigeria. So that is how to create a function, a simple function, and a function with parameter and argument in bash scripting. I don't want the video to get too long, so we may do more bash scripting in some other videos, or you could check some other online resources for more advanced bash scripting commands. But that is all for me in this tutorial. Thank you for your time.